So, Jono, we just finished doing the interview with Rio, but I want to get your words on why you and Bernard chose to sign him.
I think obviously it ticks a lot of boxes in terms of what we're looking for in a profile of footballer. He's a local lad. We first saw him at Elton Vale, who will be visiting in pre-season with the B team. We first saw him playing there 2 or 3 years ago. Really good quality. Had a bit of arrogance about it, a bit of confidence, but knew that he needed to play at that level as a young lad. And he stepped up, and I don't think there's anything better than seeing a young footballer step up through the leagues and take to it like a duck to water each time. So he's always been on our radar. And then obviously he's finished top scorer in the NPL 1 West this season. Again, been watched. And it just felt like it was the right time. 23-year-old, great age to be coming in, he's played that age group of 22 to 24 where we class it as first team ready. It doesn't always pan out like that, but them ages are what we look at as first team ready. And he fits in with your Danny Greenfields, Matt Sargents, Michael Afai, that age group of lads that you want to be working with over the next sort of few years of growing with a football club. So he comes with a great pedigree of scoring goals, really good all-round player. Quite aggressive as a forward, puts himself about, although he's not a huge unit of a man, but he's very aggressive with his runs. Really good footballer, got great potential as well. So dead excited about him. And as I said, coming off the back of a fantastic season with Trafford last season, is why we wanted to get it done now.
So that's a good thing to know. So obviously at times we saw that we were struggling to score goals at times last campaign. He's hopefully a reason that we can change that.
Yeah, I think last year the onus on Jordan was incredible, really, when you think about it. As much as we didn't win in the first 10 games, I don't think Jordan scored a goal, apart from in the FA Cup game at once when we got a 2. Not for the want of not playing well, but just weren't falling right for him and weren't falling right for us for a variety of reasons. But we never had anybody really to push him all season, not until Bally came in at the back end, and that was only like 3 or 4 games to go, really. So we've made some decisions on certain positions on the pitch, but which we'll probably go through, where we feel like we needed depth. Obviously Jordan's been an unbelievable player for myself and Bernard. He's been an unbelievable player for this football club over the last couple of years, and he's been an unbelievable player in non-league football. But he needs competition, he needs support, and with the signing of Rio and other lads that are likely to come through the door over the coming weeks, we feel like that competition will be very healthy, not just us as a number 9 and up front, but all over the squad.
Obviously, we spoke in the last training session, didn't we, about obviously contracts we were getting talked about then. Obviously, since then we've announced the retained list. In terms of that, are you happy with those decisions you've made?
Yeah, there's some tough decisions, some really tough decisions. There was probably a handful of lads that you'll see on the retain list that have been invited back for pre-season, again for a variety of reasons, which I won't, it's personal conversations between Bern and myself and the individuals, but I don't want to say to prove themselves. They've got nothing to prove at all at this football club, but for reasons spoke in private, they've been invited back. Whether they take that or not, it was entirely up to them. Scott Duxbury was one of them, where we decided not to offer a new contract at the time, but he was more than welcome to come back in pre-season with us. He's chose to move on, signed for Bury, I think yesterday or the day before, which was his prerogative as a free agent essentially. But what you find out about when you said to lads, we're inviting you back to pre-season, actually when they do go and sign for a different football club, it probably sort of backs up the point and the reason why you did what you did, if that makes sense. Because there's other players that we've invited back for pre-season who I know for a fact that are coming back despite offers of other football clubs. So we started to, you find out about players that really want to be at the club. And that's not a dig, by the way. There's no veiled dig in that. That is just what you find out with individuals, that they've got to look after themselves first. And that's what they've done. So there's been a few invited back for pre-season. Whether they come back or not will depend on, I suppose, what happens with offers they get elsewhere. And obviously there's a big number of players that were released. Some through performance, some through attitude, some through probably just not quite working out at the time, but not for the want of trying, not for the want of putting the effort in terms of training and game time, but things just don't work out sometimes at football clubs. And I think with the season that we had, look, we talked about it enough. a football club the size of Radcliffe being in the National League North, we celebrated as a small achievement staying up in the league. Especially when you look at either Market, who did what we did in their respective league the year before and went down. So we looked at the season. We had so many different mitigating reasons as to why the season went the way it did. There's some great moments and there was some really goddamn awful moments. But finishing fifth bottom from a standard point of view isn't where we want to be. We've really got to push on next season. So the decision making in terms of renewing players or releasing players came off the back of the performance on the pitch, essentially.
I was going to say, Rio mentioned it in his interview, obviously, that the ambition that yourself and Bernard have, a lot of us have really as a club, is one of the main reasons he signed. And I think that's going to be clear to see, through, as you've mentioned, throughout the weeks with transfers coming in, transfers leaving possibly. That's what you want to take into the next campaign.
100%, because as we've said about, we've stayed in the league, brilliant, yeah, well done, great. Little Radcliffe has stayed in the National League North. What we can't do is become accustomed to just staying in the league. If you plan on just staying up, you will just stay up or you'll get relegated. So an old adage, an old saying, a bit cliche, but you aim for the stars, might land at the moon. But that's well and good saying we want to win the league, we want to get in the playoffs, we want to finish top 10, we want to finish top half. There's got to be some real reason and way of doing that behind it. From our point of view, that comes down to recruitment, it comes down to the way we train, it comes down to, again, a variety of reasons as a football club, as what we're trying to do. It's okay, well and good saying we're ambitious. We know as a football club where we've come from over the last 6 years, a couple of promotions, a cup win, but next season's one of them. We had our season where we were finding out about ourselves as a football club at a new level. We've got to push on now. We've got to become and do what a Kurz and Ashton have done over the last few years, what a Chorley have done over the last few years. I said them two clubs because they were both down the pyramid as Radcliffe were over the last sort of decade of years. We've got to push on next season as a football club, and as when we talk about ambition, we talk about the players we're bringing in. You know, you look at the disparity between Rio Clegg and John Taylor. You know, we've got a player at the absolute peak of his career that's coming out of League Two. That the offers he's had have been incredible for him to choose us. Obviously, we're also going to fall lucky in terms of what he wants to do from a model point of view, full-time, part-time stuff. But to get a John Taylor in and get a hungry young player as in Rio Clegg shows you exactly what type of player we want to bring in. We want to bring players who are at the absolute best. We want to bring players in who've been at the best last season but could still get better. You've then got the likes of Isaac Bodie, Lewis Rawsthorne that have been out on loan. Young, hungry football players like Rio that I have absolutely no doubt when it comes day one of pre-season will push the senior players, if you want to call it that, to show them, look, we're here to stay. You know, we're not just here to be part of little games here and there and go out back on loan. They want to be part of the first team squad. Next season it's 7 subs, so all of a sudden, you know, the squad, the matchday squad becomes an 18-man squad. So lads know what they're playing for. So when we talk about ambition, it's about bringing the right players, but it's about bringing in the right hungry type of players, right hunger. What is it you really want? Why are you here? If it's like one last payday or you're a German footballer, we ain't a football club for you. But if it is to be your absolute best and to have some good times in football over the next couple of years, then certainly we're the club for that. And that's what we've got. When we spoke to John, when we spoke to Rio, when we spoke to Michael, all different types of players, all different positions, all different journeys. That's something that's excited us about all of them.
And then, obviously, last but not least, obviously the fans are going to be expecting more transfers to come in. I don't know. Imagine you, Bernard, Billy, were in conversations with other teams, other players, and don't need to obviously say name names, but are you in the market for other players in certain positions?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, listen, the gaffer, myself, the chairman, we're meeting every day. You know, on the phone with the owner, with Marcus, as a leadership group, the 4 of us speaking every single day, leaving no stone unturned. I've got to say, last season felt like we had the most incredible year the year before. But it felt like we took our eye off the ball that we enjoyed it that much, that just bringing everybody up the level was enough. It didn't work out, and that also lands on that leadership group, but most importantly lands on myself and Bern. So them conversations that have been being had over the last 3 weeks, I know it looks ruthless with some of the decisions that we've made in terms of released. It looks ruthless how quick we got it out there, the quickest one, and also looks ruthless how quick we made new signings quicker than anybody else. But we want to show everyone, the supporters, our supporters, that we mean business. And the personnel, the type of player, the calibre of player that we're bringing in also mean business as well.